Robert Louis Stevenson. I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. Such was the motto of Christopher James. Christopher had the tendency to wander off. Safety was not in his sights. Only the adventure and all that needed exploring before him. It did not matter if he was alone, contemplating the end of a wheat field, or whether he was amongst 20,000 people on an airfield covered with hundreds upon hundreds of planes. He was of an age of 5 and 8, respectively. No matter the situation, he was off and running. And his parents had to keep their third eye out for this one, trusting that the other 3 would stick close. His curiosity was his leader, and the adventure of life was his game plan. He didn't care if anyone came along. He didn't give a thought to the rules, laws, or present and certain dangers. He was always wandering beyond the back 40, a phrase born in the agricultural era and used to refer to that which was beyond knowing. He was prone to wander, beyond the field of vigilant parental survey. It isn't that he was trying to escape them, but rather the adventure called so much more strongly. But protected he was. At age 8, he was caught by the collar of his shirt just before he would have hurtled down a 50-foot cliff of sheer rock. At 19, when photographing Hmong refugee camps, he crossed the no zone into Cambodia, lost track of time, and had to sleep on a mountain's edge, waking up only to find a man poised over him with a machine gun. Luckily for him, it was a Marine who had tracked the wanderer and who chose to guard over him all night while he slept. Wandering was this child's daily horizon. There is wandering, and then there is wandering. There is the kind that is fueled by curiosity, and then there is the unhelpful, aimless kind that is born of a lack of joy, and maybe even of fear. For all our plans, lists, and spreadsheets, our days are filled with wandering, not of the joyful kind, but of the kind that lacks courage and faith. When we journey through a tightly controlled life without the compass of faith closer in our breast pocket than our fears, we wander aimless outside spiritual realms, which really just leads us in circles. In fact, if we're honest, we don't use faith when we make our plans, lists, and daily to-do charts. There's not much of any kind of spiritual dialogue going on. And this is what leads to the wandering that is not of the joyful, adventuring kind, but rather of the aimless, nightmarish, Alice in Wonderland kind, with smoking cats and crazy executing queens. If God's voice had been part of the planning equation, we might have learned what of our list and to-do making is our way of escaping a spirit-led life. Our life is one of journeying. God will call us out beyond what we can see, to that distant horizon that is unknown, beyond the back 40. God might call us to wander with greater wonder, with an eye to walking through that fear that lurks behind the spreadsheet, calling us out into an adventure that is led by curiosity and joy. Before I share the next quote about wandering, I want you to know what biblical land of Nod is. It is the region where Cain was exiled after killing his brother Abel. Richard Rohr, Franciscan priest, writes in his book Falling Upward, "My later life call is to wander in the land of Nod, enjoying God's so often proven love and protection. I look back at my life and everybody's life, the one and only life, marked happily and gratefully with the sign of Cain, and I will add the mark of the cross. Contemplation and compassion are finally coming together," end quote. You see, Richard Rohr knows that he is a sinner, but a beloved sinner, and that his whole life has been one filled with God's protection. He knows that even there in the land of Nod, he has such a good life, with no need for angst or fear, just a marvelous acceptance of God's grace upon the whole wandering endeavor. And then he adds, pain is part of the deal. If you don't walk into the second half of your own life, it is you who do not want it. God will always give you exactly what you truly want and desire. So make sure that you desire, and desire deeply. Desire yourself. Desire God. Desire everything good, true, and beautiful. All of the emptying out is only for the sake of the great outpouring. In spiritual wandering, we find ourselves in places that are not prescribed nor planned for. A voice or curiosity nudging us forward with the daily horizon being God's accompaniment and grace and love. From Psalm 139, God, you discern my going out and my lying down. You're familiar with all my ways. Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I go to the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there, your hand will guide me. Amen.